This has been a crazy past couple weeks, I would say. I mean, it's always a crazy past couple weeks, right? But in honor of this being the week of St. Patrick's Day, I got the, of course, classic. This is my beverage. I haven't been drinking recently. Drinking as much. So it's a weekday. It's been a stressful day so far. I'll get into that in a little bit. But you know what? I think I deserve this. I'm gonna have a Guinness 1759. It's been a while. Nitrogenated. I don't even know if that's the proper term. Can of perfect dark beer from Ireland. Let's crack this bad boy open and have some ASMR. Oh, she got the gurgles. Oh, look at that. Look at that nitrogen bubble. Oh, that's buttery. I've been craving these shits, not because it's St. Patrick's Day. Let's see if I could get some of that beautiful pour action here. Let's see. You gotta pour it straight down the middle and let that develop. It's not that carbonated, but you see that cascading fucking beauty. I don't know. Hopefully the cup is not glaring too much. This is my beverage of choice for today. So yeah, it's been a crazy. I'm gonna let that sit and just kind of develop. I've been craving that because I saw this TikTok of this guy from Boston. He was like, you gotta have a nice beer, and he cracks it open. He's like, look at that butter. Look at that butter full. So I was like, you know what? That should maybe just crave a Guinness. And ever since I went to London, actually no, not London. Sorry, Germany. This motherfucker's gonna do some dumb shit. Don't do nothing stupid, bro. Don't do nothing stupid. Okay, see, this is part of the reason. Oh my God, there's too much technical equipment over here, buddy. This right here is part of the reason it's been a crazy past couple weeks. My girlfriend and I got a cat. It's a kitten, Ragdoll, red tipped. I don't fucking know the cat breeder terms. He's very loose, as you can see. His name's Kumo. Look at how big he's gotten. He's got a pretty face, cross-eyed as fuck. He's kind of dumb looking. I always make a joke that he's from the South. And he's like, I'll see two of you right now. Because he's got that cross eye. He's a good boy. Kind of. When he wants to be. He's very fucking disruptive. Very destructive as well. If he jumps on this, I'm so worried he's going to knock a fucking can over. And then it's just game over for all the tech that I have on this table. It's really just a laptop. But motherfucker. He has a really bad tendency. Okay, he's just curious. So this, if I'm distracted this entire episode, I'm gonna apologize for that right now, because this motherfucker, it's like you really just have to have all the parameters set. Baby gates, the full nine. Look, he's attacking the table for no fucking reason. You can't see it. It's all framed, but it's crazy. So, anyways, back. I started getting into beer ever since I went to Germany when I was like 19 or something like that. Before, I always had the belief that beer tasted like wheat piss. But then, as I guess, they say like your taste buds change every 7 years. And when I went to Germany, I gave it a try over there. And I drank a lot of it. Obviously, it's Germany. And then, from there, my taste buds, I guess, have developed a liking for beer. And then I saw that video of the guy from Boston just drinking a nice dark Guinness. And I was like, I can't fucking... Look, this guy. Bro. You know what? I'm going to move this over here so you can't spill that. And I'm going to move this in my hand. And cheers. Jesus fuck. This episode, ooh, that's nice and creamy, smooth. This episode's already fucking off the rails. I swear to God, if he steps on the keyboard, I'm going to lose my shit. He's already been swatting at the wires. I have to keep a goddamn cat toy to distract him. I don't know if you could see him in the corner of the frame there. He's a lovely boy, but let me just get in real quick into some of the reasons why he's so fucking disruptive. Earlier today, we had a lamp. Me and my girlfriend, Hannah. We got a lamp from Target, right? And in that lamp from Target, basically, it has the shade of it is made out of glass, and it's giant. The shade of it was giant, I should say. We propped it in the fucking corner, okay? Literally tucked into the corner. So you'd expect, because it's in the corner, there's no way this thing is gonna fall, right? No, don't play with that. There's no way this thing is going to fall, right? That's what you would think. That's the logical, process. That's the reason why we put it in the corner. And we also put this giant thing that you see behind me, this divider backdrop, if you will. We put that in behind it to kind of serve as like a deterrent so that he couldn't get back there and fuck around with it, whatever. Somehow, I mean, he had the crackhead zoomies today. Somehow he started sprinting around the apartment like a fucking chicken with its head cut off. Literally just recklessly sprinting around, knocking into shit, whatever. That's his usual thing. The midday zoomies. So I'm thinking nothing of it. Then all of a sudden today, I see him behind this thing after it's, folded up behind the lamp. And I'm looking at him and he's kind of like looking up. Now, keep in mind, this thing's leaned against the wall. So there's nothing really to look up at. It's just the top of this touching the wall. And I'm like, what the fuck is he looking at? Cats are kind of just dumb. They're curious, whatever. Okay, fine. I jokingly say to Hannah, I'm like, you know what? How much you want to bet this fucking guy's going to knock this thing into the lamp and is going to cause it to fall? I said that as a joke. Well, you know what? I guess what can go wrong will go wrong. And then I'm speaking to Hannah on this side. Where we keep this shit is on that side of the room. Literally right out of the frame. I'm speaking to Hannah all the way on this side of the room. And I hear like rustling and then I hear a knock. I look and I'm like, oh, and I scream. I'm like, Hannah. And then we both look at this thing and it's in slow fucking motion. He somehow sprinted behind, knocked this thing hard enough where it started wobbling and we see it wobble, hits the lamp, and Hannah's like in my way. I couldn't go for a dive, nothing like that. And I've also seen horrific videos of people on the internet trying to save like a bottle of wine from, I think it happened to David Dobrik. He goes to try to save a glass or something from falling and breaking. And in the process, somehow it like shatters either in his hand or his hand was too close to the ground where it did shatter. And what ended up happening, that knock you just heard was this dumbass. I don't know what he's doing. In the process, it ends up just slicing his hand open, right? So I didn't want to do that. I'm also not agile enough. I'm not fucking Spider-Man to make that diving save. So the thing is falling, slow motion, boom, hits the ground. The lampshade explodes into literally, I don't know what this thing was made out of. Obviously glass, but there's different types of glasses. Or glass, if that's already plural. But it's not safety glass. So it sharded up everywhere. And then the pieces that didn't shard turned into literally like a powder. So for fucking 45 minutes, I start sweeping, right? Like fucking Consuela. She's over here. She's working, so she can't help me. She's on a project. She works in the art industry, so she had a time crunch on this project that was like super time sensitive. So she can't take time out of her day. So guess who's stuck fucking sweeping? This dickhead that you see in the frame. Me. I'm sweeping all this broken glass into the goddamn, the dustpan. Then after that, I vacuum and then I mop. That lamp was $150. Thank God the bulb didn't break. I mean, it's an LED plastic bulb, I think. So it has good durability. But that lampshade went everywhere. Under the couch, under the rug, the jute rug under the couch, under the like carpet, non-slip like plastic mesh, that grid that you put under rugs so that the rugs don't slide around. Under that, like shards of this shit everywhere. It got close to their water bowl. I checked their water. There's nothing there. Into Hannah's backpack somehow. I mean, this shit just went everywhere. I can't stress it enough. It almost looks like one of those like fluorescent old school, like I think gas. I don't know what gas is filled. I think it's like Xeon or something. Those light bulbs, those tubes, when they fall and they break and it's just like a poof and glass explodes everywhere. It almost looked like that. So that was my morning this morning, okay? Because this dickhead decided to get the zoomies and then just be like, oh, everything in this apartment that I could break, I'm just going to fucking break. Not to mention, I'm Chinese, half Chinese. I think this is all part of like a bad luck thing that's been going on. This isn't even a joke, okay? I'm not a practitioner of, like voodoo stuff or, I don't practice in any of those things, but I am serious when I say that I want to get my grandma down here, okay? With like a fucking, one of those silver, oh my gosh, I can't remember what they're called. It's like the incense burners that on a chain that you swing around like a freaking missionary in church. I want her to come in here and start swinging that thing to cleanse whatever evil spirits we got going on in this bitch. Because let me tell you, this dude knocked over a money tree, which in Chinese and a lot of Asian cultures is like supposed to be a focal point of good fortune for your home. Okay, so me and Hannah, obviously, we just moved in recently, so we had a money tree, as is customary, because we want to bring good fortune upon ourselves. So we had that plant propped up in the corner on top of this like Urban Outfitters like rack, right? And it's probably, the pot itself was probably like a good 2.5 feet, maybe 3, more like 2.5 feet off the ground, maybe 3 feet. And we're like, it's kind of like it's like in a spot where cats wouldn't want to go up there, because the shelf that it was on is literally like yay far out. So there's not really much space for him to like put his paws and, you know, sniff around. First couple weeks, he's doing fine. He's not curious towards that plant at all. Okay. Then out of nowhere, he decides one day to just go to it twice while me and Hannah are not there to supervise. Like I think I was in the bathroom, she was in the room, and this plant at the time was out in the living room. He knocks it over once. I fucking hear Hannah as I think I was taking a shit. Out on the other side of the bathroom door, I hear Hannah freaking a commotion. I hear Hannah come out. She's like, God damn it. She tells me. I'm like, fuck. Then this cat, she cleans it. Dirt, soil is everywhere at this point. She cleans it. She then puts it back up. This motherfucker, not 5 minutes after Hannah spent all that time doing that and also telling him, oh, you know, bad boy, whatever, doing that whole pet shaming shit, he does it again. And at this point, Hannah's sick and tired of it. We had a little spat because she's like, I'm not cleaning again, even though I was in a rush to get ready for something, whatever. So I ended up being like, what the fuck? So now I have to clean it. I started cleaning this shit, and I looked at this cat. He's all cute. Look, you know what? He's right here. He's trying to sleep, but fuck him. I looked at this motherfucker, and he's all cute and cuddly and furry, whatever. Oh my gosh, he's so whatever. This fucking guy got the demons in him. I'm not holding him hard. He has... You don't like that now? You don't like when dad holds you like that? He's got the fucking demons in him. This boy is wicked, okay? Every fucking thing that he can break in the house, he's going to try to break. Isn't that right? Is that right? Fucker. Okay. So, that's why it's been a hectic past couple weeks. Being a cat dad / having pets, I'm going to say right now, it's almost... You know when people say like, oh, you know, like you can't compare having pets to children? I'm sorry. Listen, as a person, I don't have fucking kids, but as a person who just got a fucking pet for the first time and being solely responsible for said pet, I'm going to have to disagree with you there. All right. You don't get as good of sleep. You really don't. Because guess what? Cats, they're fucking nocturnal creatures. In the middle of the night, I'm hearing commotion. Or if I don't hear commotion and I don't get woken up by something falling on the ground and having to go clean it at like 3, 4 a.m. This guy, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because he's a ragdoll or whatever, he likes sleeping like on my face, on top of my head, okay, or coming up to the bed and snuggling with us, which I get. That's cute. I get that, right? You're probably thinking, oh, why are you complaining about that? That sounds so wonderful. No, it's not as lovely when you're thinking, well, I'm a 6'4", 240-pound man who, if I roll over innocently while I'm asleep, this guy's going to turn into a fucking squeezed toothpaste tube version of a fucking cat, okay? That's not what I want to happen, especially because he costs $3,000. You heard that correctly. This fucker, this little glorified cotton ball, he costs $3,000, okay? So I'm thinking, I don't know if this is because I'm an overthinker or whatever it may be. Oh, look at that Guinness pour. I just poured out the rest of it. So now, finally, this empty can doesn't give me anxiety anymore. If he spills it, it's not the end of the world. I'm thinking to myself, and I think it's because I'm an overthinker, you know, I'm paranoid. I am petrified that in the middle of the night, you know, my leg goes innocently or whatever. And this has actually kind of happened. Like I've accidentally by moving my leg, brushed him off the bed. And all of a sudden in the middle of the night, you just hear like a thump. He hits the fucking ground because he likes sleeping literally like where he should not be sleeping. Lately, he hasn't been doing it as much. Thank God. He's gotten into the habit of like sleeping on our pillows right above our heads, which is fine because obviously we can't roll over. I mean, I got a big ass watermelon head. So if somehow, you know, his paw gets stuck, whatever, I'm going to hear a little squeal. But that's besides the point. He's most of the time now out of harm's way because he doesn't sleep like right up against our bodies. And Hannah, she moves around a lot during her sleep too. So that has me like nervous. Okay. So that lack of sleep that you get because of that, that's almost kind of mimicking. I mean, obviously it's not really mimicking, but it has an impact on you. So I really struggle to see how having a pet it's not the same, but it's definitely like having your own kid. Especially because you're always cleaning shit. This guy is a poop machine. Okay. He poops, and his poops, I don't know what it is. I made this comparison and Hannah said I was spot on accurate. Smells like halitosis, old man breath. Like your dad or your grandpa, when he wakes up in the morning without brushing his teeth, drinking a fucking cup of acidic ass black coffee straight, and then he comes up to you, he's like, hey, good morning, like that, and you get your nostril hairs just singed off, his shit smells like that, okay? And it radiates, diffuses throughout the rest of the apartment. We don't got a big place here, okay? This is like an 850 square foot unit in Brooklyn, New York. Okay, so we're paying an arm and a leg already for this fucking closet, this glorified closet. And my man shits in the corner and the rest of the apartment smells like cat shit. His brother, not to mention, he refuses to use, we have 2 litter boxes because you're supposed to separate your cat's litter box. He refuses to use his own. No, that's not good enough for fucking King Kumo over there. Okay, he's off frame on his cat tree. That's why I'm pointing in that direction. He insists on shitting in the exact same litter box as his brother. I guess Hannah looked this up, and I guess it's because of like a sort of form of dominance and having your smell be in like another cat's fucking shit area. But not only that, he rolls in the fucking kitty litter after his business is done. He's done this like 3 times, okay? He's white, as you guys saw. So when the doo-doo stains hit his fur, it's not like if you have a black cat, I mean, not that this makes it any less worse, but if you have a black cat, they're dirty. They don't look as dirty because they're black. You can't really see the fucking stains on the cat. Like on the hair, any dirt that's clumped up in the hair, nothing. Even like a brown cat, even some gray cats. This fucker's white, okay? He is white. Anything that he gets on his fur stands out. Disgustingly so. So now guess what? We have to shower him. He clawed the fuck out of Hannah the other day. Well, this is on me. Not because of the shower, but because I suggested to blow dry him because he was shivering, this little fucker. So when we went to go blow dry him, this wasn't a good call on my part at all. He like freaked out and then he tried to jump away and then his back feet just clawed literally right into Hannah's neck / collarbone area. It was not a small like claw mark. It was pretty fucking big. It's like probably like yay big. Right? And it was pretty deep. It was like literally like dripping blood. You know how most kitty claw marks, whatever, it's just like a red line. No, this is drawn blood. Fucking Rambo out here. So it's been a hectic week because of that. Couple weeks, actually. We've had him for, I think like, this is the 5th week. Crazy. He is absolutely lovely though. He's a sweet boy. He makes up for it. In the ways that he's crazy, he makes up for it in the amount of love that he has to give. Because I will say, he's very like forwardly loving. A lot of cats, you have to kind of earn their trust. He's very dog-like. I mean, literally rolling around shit and doing all this crazy stuff. He is very dog-like. Like he licks you. Like he licks people, which is not typical of cats at all. You know, that's a dog thing. This fucker is like, a lot of his behavior, I would say like probably a good 40-50% of his behavior, it's very similar to dogs and the way they behave. So it's very good because a lot of people, you know, kind of like him better, especially not cat people, because he's so outwardly loving. You know, typically we have another cat, Pajamas, which is Hannah's, I say that's my stepson. That's Hannah's cat that she got in college. He is like a typical cat. He's much more like reserved, but he is still loving, just indirectly, not as outwardly loving as Kumo is. So, you know, that's the whole rundown of that. So we got a cat, new kitten. Reason we named him Kumo is because it's actually a double entendre. I think that's the correct use of that word. He obviously is like a fucking puffball and he's white, so he resembles a cloud. And I know this is kind of, I think someone said this the other day, it's kind of like cheesy to name your cat like something in Japanese because that's like a really big trend that's going on. I didn't know. But it kind of has a double meaning because guess what? He's a cloud. Kumo's the word for cloud in Japanese, but also Kumo was one of the restaurants that me and Hannah frequented the most when we first started dating. So it's kind of like alluding to that our relationship first developing. So there he is. If we ever break up, which we've had this conversation, if I want that cat, I'm going to have to pay the rest of the half of the money. And then because she found him, picked him out, I guess she just gets to keep it. And she's also way more of a cat person than I am. You could deduce for yourself whether or not that's fair. That's your own personal judgment. I'm kind of just like whatever because I don't really, you know, I can't see that happening anytime soon. But we've had that real conversation, especially because I am, again, an overthinker. I spoke to a coworker of mine in the office, wonderful person. And I had asked her if she'd ever had like, because I was telling her about Kumo. And I asked her if she ever had this experience before, like getting a pet with your significant other. And she said yes, and she said she would never do it again because unfortunately the relationship ended, and she like still to this day, even though a relationship ended a while ago, gets a little upset when she thinks about the fact that how much she loved that dog, and then like you can't see that dog again. So it is kind of scary, but at the same time, you know what? If it happens, it happens. It's it's not meant to work out. So I kind of don't really let that type of thing influence my actions, and I just got him because fucking I've been dying to get my cat, even though it wasn't a ragdoll. I wanted a Siberian cat originally, and I think we will in the future get another cat. Just to wrap up this cat portion of today's episode or this week's episode, when we do, if it ends up being whatever the fucking breed ends up being, I am naming that cat Posty, like Post Malone, because how can I not? I fucking love Post Malone. Yeah, so we got a new cat. That's a huge major life update. That's why I've been so, frantically, not frantically, I've been posting without a true consistency and cadence. Kind of because of that, and then because of another thing, which I'll go into right now. So my bank account is fucking hurting. My bank account has been it's been crippled. It took a lead pipe to the knees. I don't know if it's going to be able to walk again because okay, so obviously, as I said, this cat that we just got, $3K. Right out the fucking door. That's just to get him, not on top of the vet bills and then all the shit that you need for the fucking cat. The litter box, the litter, the kitty food. You can't just get cat food. It's kitten food. Okay? And then a baby gate that we used once because we had to slowly introduce fucking pajamas and Kumo together. Whatever. On top of all the cat supplies and the cat, in the same month, I believe it was the same week, I got finally... I am a new man. I've converted from the console to PC Master Race. Andy, shout out to you. He's going to be on in a future episode. He's going to make the trip down to Brooklyn again to the pad to record an episode on this. But I got a PC. I built the PC. Well, I would say like I kind of was just Andy's hands because this is so elaborate. This stuff is like pretty tech elaborate. And Andy, bless his soul, he's very passionate about building PCs, about tech in general. I mean, he's an engineer, so just by heart, by nature, his mind is curious and he's very intuitively good at all that tech stuff. So he has been for a while trying to get me to get a PC. And I was like, oh, when the time is right, when the bank accounts look, whatever. So I finally gave in. And I could not be happier. I'll throw up some clips of the PC right now, but we spent like 5 hours building the damn thing, and then we spent another couple hours trying to actually download all the software, Windows, everything onto it. It's actually extremely interesting and kind of getting to know your device, something you built inside and out. It feels like kind of like when Iron Man is, building one of his suits, which is super sick. Like, I named my PC the Bifrost, as you could see in the video. By the way, that's a height case. Andy, great recommendation again. That case is not your typical. I don't know if you know anything about PCs, anyone watching right now, but that's not your usual PC case. Most of them don't have that beveled piece of glass that provides like a really good view, uninterrupted view of the internal guts of the system. And it's fucking beautiful, okay? This thing, I named it the Bifrost because you see all the the rainbow colored lights in there, obviously like the Bifrost from Norse mythology. And it's also, the Bifrost was, like a portal. And this is my portal, quote unquote, to the virtual or, video game world. So that's kind of the cheesy ass reason why I named it that. I don't regret it for one fucking second. I love this thing. I've tinkered around with it for countless hours. I would say Andy's going to come on to talk about like more in depth about the building process and what exactly the specs are for this thing, because it's beautiful. It's this thing's like a fucking super PC. The only thing I will say is like, this is how little I know. This is why I need Andy here. This is how little I know about this type of stuff. When I got it, right, and we booted it up for the first time and we downloaded everything, when I transported the case and everything all the way to my house in Brooklyn, I plugged it into the monitor and I went to go turn it on and it kept crashing every time. Crashing. And I was like, what the fuck, Andy? We can't figure it out for 2 days. We're trying to troubleshoot. We're like, is it the DisplayPort cable? What the fuck's going on with this thing? Okay. He looks and he's like, maybe it's a DisplayPort cable. Maybe you got like a defected DisplayPort cable. Just order another one and just return it through Amazon. I did that. Fine, I get it. I tried again. Crashing keeps fucking happening. At this point, I'm getting frustrated because I haven't even gotten to play games on the damn thing yet, right? Because I'm a huge gamer. Haven't gotten to do that yet. So I'm frustrated. It turns out, oh my God, the reason why this thing wasn't working was because I'd plugged the DisplayPort. This is so simple and so dumb. We were literally... let me just say it. I plugged the DisplayPort into the fucking motherboard instead of the graphics card output, which for anyone who doesn't understand what that means, the analogy I'll use here is kind of like your car's not starting, and the reason your car doesn't start and you keep going, it's like, it's not fucking, you go to the mechanic, get the mechanic to check everything, right? The engine, everything. And he's like, well, okay, show me what you were doing to try to start it. And the entire time, your dumb ass, instead of putting the keys in the fucking keyhole, right? The ignition, you're putting the keys in like the fucking cigarette lighter or in the CD opening or some shit. Some place where it's the aux fucking output, USB, whatever. Anywhere where it's not supposed to go, that's where you were putting the keys to start the car. That's the analogy I'll use here. That's why I kept fucking crashing, because I had it plugged into the wrong damn hole. So literally the simplest thing, I just shifted the plug. And after 2 or 3 days of troubleshooting, literally, like, this was a multiple FaceTime problem causing like session. We finally figured it out, and it was because I plugged in to the wrong hole, the DisplayPort cable into the wrong fucking port or hole. I felt so stupid. I felt defeated, but at the same time, that spark of curiosity came back in me and was reignited. And I turned that shit on for the first time, and dude, it is, I can't believe it's taken me this long to kind of convert to the PC Master Race. I will say the thing that I have spent hands down the most time doing, besides playing like maybe COD at this point, it's been like tinkering with Skyrim. I think I've said this multiple times on this podcast. My favorite video game of all time, hands down, without a shadow of a doubt, is Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. That's my favorite game of all time. And ever since I was a kid, I'm talking about way back in the day on fucking YouTube, not Mern. That's the new one. That shout out to Mern. No, not Mern. Oh my God, what's his name? MXR Mods on YouTube. We're talking like 2014, whatever. This guy would post mod videos and how Skyrim would look, modded. And I was so like intrigued by the way that these people were tearing down the literal code of the game, building it back up to make it better and basically more modern. And the fascinating thing about this whole process is that, I joined a Discord group and I got to know some really cool people who helped me out, because it's very elaborate, actually. You have to download basically like an interface to manage your mods that you have implemented that then affect the game, and then you have to download a bunch of code, all this stuff. So for a person like me who literally fucking like an imbecile put the DisplayPort cable in the wrong hole, this software shit's like a whole nother level deeper that like I can't swim that at that depth, man. Like, this was way out of my league. So these people were kind enough, actually. I joined that's why I was mentioning Mern before. I joined his Discord channel server, and Mern is basically he's like the modern day MXR Mods. Super popular YouTuber. I think like 50,000 subscribers on YouTuber. So up and coming, I would say still, but he's like relatively new. And he does mod videos again on Skyrim. And actually, very interestingly enough, even though Skyrim came out in November 11th, 2011, so 11/11/11, even though that game came out that long ago, to this day, we're talking in 2023, there's still content being created for this fucking video game. There's still, to this day, 10, 12 plus years after its initial release, or 11 plus years after its initial release, there's still content being created for this game. That's how freaking amazing this game is. That's why I love it so much. The depth of the lore, the storytelling that game goes into is incredible, and that's why it has such a strong following, such a strong community, because they literally are still creating it, and it's seen a huge like revitalization. A lot of these people who are making mods have actually broken, like, first of all, something that I don't know if this is common knowledge, Bethesda, who is the publishers of the game, they're the creators of the game, the vanilla version of the game, they actually were so impressed with some of these individual modders, like literally people who in their spare time fucking create code or whatever it is to fix or make the game better. They were so impressed with some of these individuals that they actually hired. This is coming straight from Todd Howard, who did a podcast with Lex Friedman a couple months ago. They've actually hired multiple people, like not like one or two, like multiple people full-time into Bethesda Softworks as game makers, as game engineers, game designers, to actually help and improve their games going forward, which is sick. You know, this is the level of kind of adoration. I don't even know if that's the right word. Whatever. I'm just going to use that word that these people have for this game and, you know, video games in general. It's a huge passion project for these individuals. And the reason I was saying it's seen a recent revitalization is because actually a lot of these people, or recently, there was like a huge groundbreaking development of like a system that basically completely overhauled a lot of the other systems in the game. It's like an animation framework engine, right? So basically it allows for people to make custom animations in the game, you know, make the character move a certain way. And it just adds immersion, and then also adds a new level of like gameplay mechanics, because then combat changes. So, you know, all this stuff being said, right? I spent hours, I'm talking like 12, 13, 14 plus hours just sitting in the Discord server, getting to know these incredible people. And actually Mern himself, who I mentioned earlier, shout out to you, Mern. He actually joined the Discord voice channel. We were just all chilling, and like we were literally talking. Like I think like 8 or 9 of us were literally just talking in his Discord server. And there's like a lot of people in the server, but it's really cool to see that a content creator out there who's, you know, pretty big, 50,000 is no small number. It's definitely somewhere I aspire to be. He actually is, you know, having these conversations and getting to know the people who I guess are subscribed to him, but also share the same passion of Skyrim. So that dude, he was in there. These people helped me out, set up the entire system. And I mean, it gets really complicated because a lot of the mods that, you know, someone like myself would want to download, you get super overwhelmed and excited, right? And you're so enthusiastic about changing this game and making it more modern, literally graphics overhauls, everything. You get super excited about all that stuff. So then you go and try to download all these mods, but it's not as simple as that, because then what ends up happening is that a lot of these mods will actually butt heads with one another, and then your game crashes. So these people literally sat down and helped me make sure that the entire mod list, the entire library, the archive of mods that I'd built up, and it's a very small number compared to some of the libraries that other people had. I literally sat there and they helped me make sure they optimized all of it so that no crashes would happen, so on and so forth. So it was amazing. It was really cool doing that. It was a great experience. And I've spent so much time building up that, you know, Hannah's back. Hey, Hannah. So much time building up that archive of mods. And that's the thing that I would say I've spent the most time in doing. And now when I play the game after doing and create, you know, basically modernizing the game, it's a completely new experience. I feel like a little fucking kid again. Like literally turning on my PC. You know, I'm 24 years old, about to turn 25 in September of this year in 2023. And now that I'm playing this, I literally feel like how I felt in 2012, I think. I got on the Skyrim wave a little later. Like I didn't get it right after its release. I feel like I did then, playing this game for the first time, being like my eyes just open up wide like a fucking kid, or someone who's doing LSD or heroin for this first time. Like I'm literally geeking out at every single moment, every single second that I play that game. Hannah for sure actually has been feeling pretty neglected, because that PC has soaked up so much of my goddamn time. And better yet, now because of the fact that this PC, just to, you know, to speak a little tech talk here, this is not that hard to understand, but it has 2 terabytes worth of storage space. My MacBook Pro has 500 gigabytes. So to put that into perspective for those who don't know, my MacBook has 25% of the storage that my PC does. The reason I'm telling you this is because now I've actually downloaded Premiere Pro, my editing software, on my PC. And because the CPU, again, sorry to go so much into the nitty-gritty details, my CPU is a 12-core CPU, so it processes things way faster. I'm going to be able to edit, create more content, hopefully stick to a more regular cadence, all that beautiful stuff because of this beautiful machinery that I have sitting on my desk that you guys have seen pictures and videos of. So it's been a crazy, again, past couple weeks. Got the fucking cat, got the PC. And, you know, actually, funny enough, like, now going on to another thing, I've recently started to, this is a complete change of topic. I've recently started to take up swimming, okay? And it's kind of funny how I'm seeing the effects of it right now. Before, when I tried to record a podcast by myself, and I was kind of, like speaking by myself uninterrupted, because I have this kind of weird idea in my head that because I'm speaking and it's only me on camera, I have to be just verbal diarrhea all the time. And that ends up me not literally being able to breathe, like take a breath, inhale, and then fucking, talk. So a lot of the times in previous episodes, I feel like not out of breath, but kind of like I don't have, like, I'm just constantly talking throughout the entire episode. And you'd feel like a little, like, vocally exhausted afterwards, right? I've recently taken up swimming, and the reason I mentioned that, what I just mentioned, is because during this episode, I mean, it's been 36 minutes recording. I don't feel nearly as, like, exhausted as I do in terms of, like, breathing and stuff like that. And I think it's because swimming has kind of had a really big impact on my cardiovascular health, even though I've only been doing it. This is going to be the 4th week doing it. I've already seen pretty big differences. Just as far as like physical appearance, Hannah says that she's seen that I look a little slimmer, which is great. Who doesn't want to do that? Even though I don't think the Guinness is fucking helping, but I look a little slimmer. I feel better. Like I have more energy throughout the day. Even if I haven't been sleeping the best. I've probably been getting like a solid 6.5 hours per night, which I know I got to bump that up to 7.5 plus. But all that being taken into account, I still feel pretty energized, and I'm pretty energized throughout the day because of the fact that I think I've been doing more cardio. So it's been great. It's also given me this really weird perspective because a lot of the times, right? And I think this is like this is going to be a really cheesy life lesson or life like tidbit that I'm about to say. But if you ever want to gain appreciation for something that somebody else is really good at, that you don't think, oh, that's not all that. Why don't you try doing it? And then see how you are compared to the fucking, the skill of the person in question. What are you doing?
Me?
Yeah.
Jonathan's just using the litter box.
Oh, that's not... Okay, so that clicking in the background, bro. We ain't ever going to have like a perfectly quiet, no background noise podcast ever again. Because we got one of the world's worst producers over here. She's not in frame. She's behind this somewhere. And then we got the 2 fucking fur children, the 2 fur babies who are just going to be making a fucking ruckus. Even though the white demon, he's over there off frame. He's not. He's just sleeping. Thank God. Because if not, I bet you somehow he'd find a way to knock this shit on the fucking ground, even though it's propped up with chairs. Anyways, back to what I was saying. You ever want to gain appreciation for what someone else can do? Try to do it yourself. Because I thought my whole life, I'm like, okay, I know how to swim, right? My mom actually did synchronized swimming back in Colombia when she was like a teen. And they, like, you grow up and you hear your parents like talk shit and brag all the time. More so for my dad. My dad's really fucking cocky. My mom is not. But the one thing she did say and would say very frequently that she was good at was swimming. Hannah, can you close the window a little bit? It's a little wide and he's like getting a little close. Sorry. So the one thing she would say that she was good at was swimming, right? And I didn't really think it was all that big of a deal because it's literally just swimming. But recently, in my apartment building, we have, like, I think it's a 25-meter long pool, right? And I've seen people doing cardio there, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do this. Why not? Because I remember recently, actually, my uncle had said that, pajamas, please don't fuck with the tripod. My uncle had said that swimming, he actually tried swimming recently. Like, this is within the past couple of years. And he said that to swim with proper form, is a very difficult thing to do. And I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, bro, like, it's freestyle. You literally just go like this, whatever. And I could swim. Like, again, I've gone in the oceans. Like, I'm no problem swimming, treading water, whatever. So I'm thinking to myself, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I went, and let me fucking tell you, I had obviously bathing suit. I got goggles, right? So I just go in the water. And I start swimming, and then I realize, like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, especially because at the time, the very first time that I went to go swim, this is like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, I got in the pool, and there was this dude. I think he's from France. I think he's French. He has an accent. Sounds European. I'm not sure which country, but if I had to put money on it, I would say France. This dude gets in the water, okay? He's in pretty good shape. I'm doing my fucking horrific fucking form, technique, if you could even call it that, just swimming like I've swam my whole life, just flailing, looking like I'm getting attacked by a fucking shark in this pool. And I noticed that this dude to my right is laps, like there and back, there and back, there and back. Like he is passing me with ease. And it's so crazy because when I was swimming, I'm splashing. It's like white water fucking rapids. You just see water kicking up. I look over on the far side of the pool, the third lane. This dude is swimming, and it's like it's like laminar flow, if you know what that is. It's like there's no disturbance in the water whatsoever. This guy looks like an angel, like a fucking fish. And when this happened, I swear to God, something clicked in my brain. I was like, yo, this dude doesn't do this professionally, right? This is just some guy that probably swam in fucking high school and maybe like D2, D3 college or, you know, whatever. In France, he was probably part of like a swim club or whatever it was. And he's doing this right now as like a hobby, as like exercise. And he's this good. Imagine someone who does it on a professional level, how graceful they must be in the water. You see it on TV every 4 years in the Summer Olympics when you see swimmers. You're thinking to yourself, that shit looks easy, right? Okay, yeah, they're just fast, but it looks pretty easy to do. The technique itself requires so much coordination and rhythm. You know how fucking hard it is to keep your feet kicking consistently, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, consistently, while also keeping in mind, okay, you have to keep this is the thing that fucks with me the most. Keep your head facing down. I watch YouTube videos on this shit, okay, the tutorials, because I'm not going into this shit not knowing anything, especially after the first time where I got sunned by that other dude. I came back and started watching all the video fucking tutorials on how to swim. Keep your head down, literally looking straight at the bottom of the pool. And as you go to throw or perform your stroke, it's like you're turning your body and you're reaching as far out as you can forward, and then it comes straight down. And instead of doing this, you're not slapping the water, right? You're pushing, and then you bring your elbow up, and then you're piercing the water with your outwardly reaching hand, right? To get into the water, and then do that stroke, the downward stroke, to just keep propelling yourself forward. Keep it, and then the thing that's really difficult, swimming by itself, right, doesn't sound that hard. I mean, you're in like a zero gravity fluid, right? So you're not thinking it's that physically demanded. But when you're moving your body through this dense, you know, like water, when you're trying to move your body throughout water, it's actually difficult because it requires a lot of force, especially like I don't know if it has to do with your size, but I just felt like it was requiring a lot of force to get me going somewhere with a decent amount of pace. So every time I'm doing this, I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm kind of gassing out. Like I feel my lats burning. Like what the fuck is this? Like I'm doing pull-ups or lat pull downs in the gym or something. I literally felt my lats burning. So I'm trying to swim, right? This is now the second day after I got sunned by that first guy. Second time swimming. I'm trying to do all this and I'm realizing like, dude, this is impossible. Trying to breathe because, again, I'm not really cardiovascularly fit. I'm getting better, but I'm not by any means fit. So while I'm swimming, I'm like, bro, it is so hard rhythmically to perform good strokes while fluttering your feet, right? To keep your body as linear as possible, as parallel to the surface of the water as possible, right? So there's minimal drag. And also every third, or even if you're really advanced, or every other, if you're really advanced, like every fourth or sixth stroke, to turn your body, peek your fucking head up out of the water and take a breath. It sounds so simple. I'm telling you, if you know how to swim, like not like with proper form, if you're just one of those fucking suburbia kids like I am, right? You grew up in the suburbs with a fucking pool or a swim club or something, you're probably thinking like, oh, this guy's dragging it so hard. Like this is so easy to fucking do. You just swim. Try doing it with proper technique. I promise you, it is so much more difficult than you ever gave swimming credit for. Literally, just peeking your fucking head up out of the water to get a good breath. I cannot tell you how much chlorine I've ingested in the past 3 weeks. At this point, I'm pissing fucking pool tablets because my kidneys are working. They're putting in overtime in the fucking factory. All right? There is chlorine being extracted from my bloodstream because of the amount I've ingested via fucking consumption during swimming than I can even imagine. I literally, at one point, was swimming and fucked up the inhale, okay? Just the inhale, the breath part of a freaking freestyle stroke so bad, I stopped dead in the fucking pool, and there's people around me. I had to stand, and and water came out of my nose. Embarrassing as fuck, but you know what? I kept going because that's the only way I'm going to get better. And it's actually something that, like, funny enough, like, I've struggled with fitness in the past. I mean, I think everyone does. Keeping, like, consistent. And I think you could see it with my podcast too. I struggle with consistency, right? Staying dedicated to something. Something I have to try to work on. But something that's really interesting, it's kind of like brain hack or whatever. Because I suck so much ass at swimming, it's like motivating me to keep going back to swim harder for longer sessions to actually get good at this, because it's something that frustrates me. It's like something that's so, my whole life I thought I knew how to do. You go to beaches, whatever, and then when you actually try to do it with grace, with proper technique for the first time, and you get fucking embarrassed like that, not by the guy, I'm just saying, like, you feel like you've been lying to yourself your whole life. You're like, okay, the buck stops here. Like, I got to figure out, like, you get interested. I got to figure out how to fucking do this properly, right? So you keep going back, you keep going at it. It's been great, to be honest. Again, I feel great. So I would recommend the rec of the week. The rec of the week is to do that for sure. And then maybe not drink a beer, so frequently. But this is only my second time this week drinking. But it is a Tuesday. So that's probably not the best thing. It's St. Patrick's Day week. So I get a pass for that. And it's Guinness. I'm being culturally sensitive, if anything, at this point. Drinking an Irish beer during St. Patrick's Day week. St. Patrick's Day week. Yeah. So it's been great. I'm super excited to try to edit on this PC, and I'm really curious as to how fast this PC is able to spit out the fully processed video, because my MacBook, I'm not joking, guys, for that fucking Iceland podcast that was released, the last 2 episodes that I did, total footage I think was somewhere close to 4 hours or 3.5, something like that. It was a long podcast. It was a 2-parter. That's why I had to split it up. That shit, no joke, took my MacBook. This shit sounded like a jet. Mind you, this is like a 2021 MacBook Pro. It's not like an old model. It's relatively new. My shit sounded like a jet engine, and it was going to process the video for at least, I think it was like 4 hours for just the first episode, which came out at around 1 hour and 20, right? Because all the stuff that I'd laid in there, like the pictures and the editing and whatever. So because of all that stuff, it literally took 4 hours. This thing, I think, is if I had to put a number on it, I would guesstimate that this PC that I have might be around like 3 times as powerful as this computer. I would honestly, Andy's going to say when he gets on here, I wouldn't be surprised if he said like 7 or 8, because again, it's a 12 core PC versus like, your generic MacBook Pro. So I think the processing power there is definitely like way more souped up on the PC. So I'm super excited to make more content. I'm really excited just to get back into the swing of things, finally kind of establishing a little bit of a rhythm, because again, you move out for the first time, I should say, especially with a partner. It's something that me and Hannah have been struggling with since we moved in, is finding our routine. Like we eat out too much. If she ever wants to come on the podcast, because I've invited her multiple times, and she said that she doesn't want to come on. What? You laughing back there?
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
I'll come on right now.
No, you don't want to come on. You don't want to come on. You don't want to come on. In case you look like doo-doo flakes. Nah, but I'm kidding. Nah, I've actually told her not to come on yet, because I get kind of paranoid with certain things. But yeah, she'll come on eventually. She has a crazy stories to tell from Iceland, so I think she'll probably be on in one of the future episodes, like upcoming episodes. But one of the things we've struggled with is finding our like rhythm. And yo, babe, you got to get this motherfucker. You got to get this motherfucker. He's... One second. Come here. I got him. Oh, my God.
Oh, smell.
I'm good.
No, wait. No.
I'm good.
Wait, I'm gonna throw
I don't want to smell it. I don't want to smell it.
I need to get this.
I don't want to smell it. Yo, one of the reasons I was wearing headphones for this podcast episode was because of the fact that my sideburns are looking crazy right now. Absolutely wild right now. Like flaring out. I look like one of those fucking troll dolls from the 90s. This cat, he has a bad habit of going up on my desk and doing some crazy shit. That's why I had to jump off the screen. But again, what I'm trying to say for the third fucking time, me and Hannah have struggled with establishing our rhythm in terms of going out, cooking at home. DoorDash, I am convinced that we are single-handedly keeping DoorDash's profits. Whatever their margins are, we've boosted it by at least 20%. I don't know how else to put that. Like, we've literally ordered out, how many, like, average 4 times a week?
Yeah.
No, probably even more than that, to be honest, because it's like some days we order twice in one day. And that probably happens like 2 days of the week. And then the other, like, you know, whatever, 6 days of the week, or 7 days, 5 days, Jesus fuck. 5 days of the week, we'll probably order in 3 of those days. It's like 5 or 6 times we're ordering DoorDash. 5 or 6 meals a week. That's way too much. These people are, it's New York City prices. We're bleeding out here. That's why I said earlier, my fucking bank account is on its lifeline. This bitch got hit by a Mack truck. Because my shit right now, TD Bank is like, bro, you good? I know Silicon Valley Bank just fucking crashed. But are you good? You know, you're in TD. What's going on? We're based out of fucking Canada. You know, on that note, by the way, it's kind of crazy how the entire world, it's like, if you pay attention to the news, you get depressed 1 second, but then you get happy the next. The things I'm referring to right now for me specifically is finding out that the second biggest bank failure happened in U.S. history, and the economy's not doing so good. And I just fucking moved out, so guess what? I might have to be going back to my parents' basement, which is great. But besides that, one of the things that fucking gave me a little bit of hope is that male birth control, I think this is all over the news right now, is proving to be effective in mice. 100% effective rate. I did some research into it, and the science is something, it blocks out some type of enzyme or protein that results in allowing the sperm to actually have their tails like swimming. So it immobilizes the sperm that you have in production, on the production line, or in, you know, your reserves, so to speak. I think it immobilizes them so they can't actually, you know, flutter up the punani to get into the past the cervix. And in immobilizing them, they actually die in the vagina really quick because pussies are acidic. So yeah, that's the science behind it. Brought to you by yours truly. Again, that kind of gave me hope, because guess what? If that fucking shit works and I don't have to cut my tubes or something like that, cut my cords via vasectomy, and, you know, my girl, Hannah can get off of, you know, hormonal birth control, because that shit's like a whole nightmare for a lot of women. That'd be pretty great if I could just pop a pill right before doing the deed, and then I'm good to go. The only thing, so that's the thing. For it to work, you have to take the pill before you actually go and do the act, right? So what if these pills are like, the funny part of my brain is thinking like, so what happens if like a dude who wants to take this birth control goes out on a date for the first time where he thinks he's going to get some nookie, and then he pops it like, I think like 2 hours before, or an hour before he thinks, you know, the dirties, you know, tapping boots is about to happen, before they start fucking, before that estimated time window begins, he takes the pill. What happens if it ends up not happening? It's like, damn, because now what if the pill's super expensive? You just fucking took the pill, you pop that little pilly down, and you're like, I ain't even getting none out of this, and I just wasted that shit, and then you're gonna go home and shoot some fucking crippled sperm. You're gonna nut into a napkin, and them bitches are just gonna be stuck on the wall like that, not even being able to swim into their, you know, down the toilet drain or whatever. So it's fucked on every level if that were to happen. On the, you know, bad for the hypothetical dude that does that, but also bad for the little swimmers who are just stuck and they can't even move. Now they're just being flushed down the toilet. So anyways, yeah, that's this episode. It's been a whirlwind of topics. I don't even know what the fuck I talked about up until this point, but thank you guys so much for watching. It's going to be a cold cutoff. I didn't even drink that much of this beer. For upcoming episodes, I have my uncle visiting from Florida. Andres, he's been on the podcast before. Hopefully he'll agree to do another episode. Once again, sorry for the background noise, because I have the world's worst fucking producer. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Cue the outro music. Okay, there we go. Subscribe, like the video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, deuces.